to the Sunday Sofa, our second episode, where we are talking about life, love, and spirituality. And I'm Bex from Bohemian Bex.
Hi, I'm Sam.
Hi, I'm Emily.
And I'm Polly.
So a little bit more about myself. I'm Becky. I do angel and tarot card readings. I do reflexology, and I do angelic Reiki. You can find me on my Facebook page or Instagram, which is at Bohemian Bex.
Hey. Sorry, I was just going to put my foot in there.
Sorry.
Because you know all about coaching and I don't. So my name's Emily. I have a YouTube channel where I talk about emotions and breakthroughs, and you can find me on there.
I'm Polly, and I work as a psychic medium, a spiritual medium, tarot, angel card reader, animal healing communicator, trance reader, healer, and I absolutely love it.
So I'm Sam O'Neill. I am a medium, spiritual palmist and spiritual teacher. Please do come and join my group and my page, spirit.sam.o'neill. Obviously, we're also working alongside with spiritual production, so please do add the page, come and like, and become a patron by pressing the Shop Now button. That gives you high priority on all live readings. It also gives you a private little group that will send you invites to events coming up. So, what else have we got?
So, on today's show, we were going to talk about the idea of charging for services, particularly spiritual services, which can be a bit of a hot topic at the moment. So, we were both... Polly, do you charge for your service?
Yes, I do, and recently had to put up my prices because I was working from home for quite a long time and then moved into working in a salon environment. Obviously, when you're working from another place other than home, you've got overheads, you've got to not only pay the rent for like where you're working, you've also got to cover your own bills and cover your own life, haven't you, and be able to put food on the table. So absolutely, yes, I do charge. Also, the fact that it takes you so much, even though you're doing what you love for a really good reason, it is taking you away from your whole family life as well, isn't it? I mean, most of us, I think, have all of us got children?
No.
There's 3 out of 4 of us have got children, or we might even have pets, that take up rather a lot of money and our time. And we have to realise as well that we can't do it for nothing, because we literally wouldn't be able to live. So I think it's really important to put a charge upon yourself and what you feel you're worth as well, how much time and effort you're putting into it as well. You don't, I mean, I don't know about any of you guys, but I don't just, sit at home drinking my cup of coffee and then my client turns up. I've prepared the room, I've prepared myself. It's really important as readers or spirit workers that we have prepared our energy, that we can't, if we've had a stressful day, we can't then just go and give this person a reading with all of our stuff, can we? It's got to make sure it's all the back stuff that nobody ever sees.
Yeah, a lot of people, I don't think, realise how much.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's spiritual world, holistic, any kind of self-employment. People don't realise how much time and effort actually goes into produce that product.
Yeah.
Like obviously your advertising, that takes time.
Yeah.
You have to sit there and do posters, flyers, whatever, and then try and distribute them. You're not technically getting paid for that.
No,
it still takes time.
I think as well, it's one of those things now with the technology that we have that we can reach people like we are today and able to get a massive reach and connect with people instantly. But I think a lot of spiritual people are offering those free things.
Oh, they are.
Which is great.
Yeah.
But you've still got to earn, like you say, you've still got to be able to earn some money.
Yes, you have.
Especially if you're dedicating your life to spirit and to helping others.
I mean, the amount of things. I mean, Bex and Emily, I haven't known you for very long at all. But I know myself, and I know with Sam, that we've done an awful lot for charity, where you're putting a whole either day, evening, or however much time to you know, do your work your services for charity, and the amount of money that we've probably raised is massive. You know, I mean, things like, for example, the Rowan's Hospice, for cancer charities. I did one for Teenage Cancer Trust, and everything. You know, we didn't take any money at all to go there for that day, that afternoon, that evening, whatever it was, to be able to do that. We still had to come away from all of our families and get someone to look after our kids or walk the dogs.
You know, it's amazing being able to do spiritual work and connect with people and help people healing or help them overcome difficulties that they're going through. But it is still a job, and it still, you know, if you were going to work in a shop for so many hours, you would expect to be paid for those hours that you're putting into that. So I think it is important to kind of have that exchange of energy.
Absolutely.
But then it then surrounds the area. Should there be a limit to how much people charge for things?
I don't know, only because, I mean, if it's like I can work here in this area, Portsmouth area. If I was to work in London, for example, and if you went into Selfridges, I'm just, you know, making this up, right? You'd be paying a lot of money for a half an hour or an hour reading. Now, the people that are going to pay that money have got that money. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Most of them, I mean, I couldn't go and think, oh, I need a quick reading and pay £85, for example, if it was in a certain place or a big department store or somewhere posh, you know. I can't afford that. That's like feeding my family.
Would you on that view, would you pay extortion? But then what is your...
Well, it depends on where your point of reference is, isn't it? I suppose it depends on how much money you've already got. If you're a high earner, then your point of reference is going to be here. If you're a low earner, your reference is going to be here. So how we quantify what is a lot, or would I pay, you know, a substantial amount, is going to be different from whatever point of reference that you're going to be coming from. You know, so I think you have to kind of take that into consideration. And you mentioned, should there be a limit? I don't think there should. I think it really comes down to each individual person. I think it depends on what's your target market, where are you wanting to position yourself. If you're wanting to really help, then chances are, very stereotypically, you're wanting to help people of a certain bracket, not to put people in brackets and boxes and things, because I don't really like that, but, you know, so therefore you're always going to constantly be operating within this kind of framework. Now, if you have a shift, and I think that's the thing, if you have a shift mentally, where you suddenly realise, actually, I have so much value, I have so much, you know, value that I'm able to give, therefore I put a higher price tag on it, therefore you're going to be, I suppose, attracting people who are going to be paying that.
Well, yeah, and it's interesting you're just saying about the shifts. When I first started doing, and I've moved around quite a bit from different areas, so I first started doing readings when I was living in Devon, and then I came up to Portsmouth, and a great way to kind of connect with clients is doing the mind, body, spirit fairs and kind of getting on that.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah, and it took me a long time because I was sort of shy and a bit nervous going out there onto that sort of network. I started really low with the prices that I was charging, and it took me 4 different clients saying to me, take the extra, you're worth more than that, take the extra. That I was like, okay, maybe I should be charging more. And then it was somebody else who's in the spiritual community that said to me, well, people will think you're not as good because you're charging less.
But it actually is true.
It's true. I think people think, oh, you're only a tenner, you must be rubbish and you know nothing. They're £30, they must be so much better. So I think it is, like you say, with the self-worth, you've got to kind of match what people's expectations are, if you know what I mean.
It is, but I think you definitely have to put a value upon yourself. Definitely put a value upon yourself. And people, if they really want to see you because they really value you, then they will pay it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was just thinking when I was listening to you, I've been for readings that have been quite expensive, okay, and come out a bit like, oh. And then I've been for a reading with somebody who really wasn't, or has just been starting out there, and I have been so impressed with what they've given me, and I have given them more. In fact, one gave double because I said you should be like charging your worth. I said I know you just feel like you're only just out there and you feel like, you know, you've only just come out onto the scene. I said, but the information you gave me was incredible.
Yeah.
I said, I know, I mean, it's like all of us, we could give an amazing reading, for example, because that person's really open sitting in front of us, can't we? Or you can sit, there's somebody that comes in, right, I'm going to test every moment of your life.
Yeah, tell me what colour pants I'm wearing.
Yeah. I had that last week.
It appears you're not wearing any.
I think you might have been on the wrong phone line. I'm joking. No, you can though. You can get people that really undervalue themselves. They don't see it, and then you get the people that put a massive value on it. I'll just give you this quick example. Somebody came to me for a reading, and this is probably about 3 years ago, and I was charging a certain rate then, okay, and if people gave me more, obviously I'd be like, oh, well, I don't charge that, so I felt really like, oh, humble about that. But this lady came, and it was such a spot-on reading, and she said, how much is it? So I told her, and she went, really? And I thought she was going to say, that's a lot. You know, when you get, a bit wobbly about it, you know. And then she said, and I won't mention the name, but she's gone to some very famous medium who is out there a lot and puts himself all over the place, you know. And she said, I went to this person and they charged me £80, right? And she said, what you just gave me was better than that. Bearing in mind I was charging £25 at the time, she gave me 90.
Wow.
Right, and I felt, I don't like this.
Yeah.
I felt like,
and
then
I want to reject this.
giving it back.
A number of clients keep like, this is giving trouble, and I'm like, no, I'm going to
Yeah.
change. They're like, no, take it.
But she wouldn't have it.
Yeah.
And it's like, the thing is, that's what they saw your worth was.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting, like, as a society, I mean, you can apply this to anything, that we see something with a high price tag, therefore it should be of higher quality.
Yeah.
Well, interesting what Polly was saying there as well, with a medium who's well known. I think when you're saying about price tags nowadays, I think actually, flipping that slightly, it's how well known you are. People look on your Instagram or your Facebook and they think, oh wow, they've got however many likes or however many reach on Instagram. They must be really good. They must know everything. When actually, you don't know if they've paid for those likes. You don't know any of that really. You don't know that the quality of what they're doing is any better than someone who's only got 100 people on their Facebook. Really,
And yeah, it does depend, doesn't it? Because some people are out there all the time doing it. Wish I had time to do that, you know?
To be fair, it might actually be worth people going to someone that is quite new on the scene, especially in fairs and stuff, because sometimes, unfortunately, as people get bigger in their careers, ego can then sometimes take over. So it doesn't mean to say that person's fantastic, because then their ego might take over, you know. But where with somebody that's just started out, their intentions
Really pure.
If my ego gets big, can you all slap me?
Yeah, so I was just thinking, please take me down.
Emily was saying earlier about self-worth.
Yeah.
When does that change from being I am worthy, I am valuable, I am this, to arrogance and ego? At what point does it become that?
I suppose it's quite a fine line.
What number of likes do
really
you have to get to on Facebook? What number of people do you have to be famous and then be in your ego?
Yes.
To being actually unworthy.
Yes.
It's an interesting.
Deep internal job, that one, isn't it, really? I know, I mean, I don't offer any spiritual services, but I've offered kind of makeup services for a very long time. And when I first started out, I mean, even now, when people come and ask me for, and it's something I'm working on daily, when people want me to do a makeup for them or like a makeover, I still find it really difficult to go, this is my price, this is what I value. Even though I work and I do believe I have that value, it's declaring that and putting it out there, because then it's susceptible for somebody to judge that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's you're not kind of worth that. And I know when I've been previously in life where I've put myself out there, or I've said this, this is how things are, and then someone's gone, well, actually, I don't agree with that. It's like, it dents on your sense of self. So if you haven't got a very good sense of self, or that's maybe slightly dented through through whatever circumstances that you've been through, I've gone off on a bit of a tangent here. I don't know what my point was, but
yeah, it's good.
Actually being able to declare yourself.
Yeah, and going, actually, you know what, I am worth this,
Yeah.
and I am, you know, I deserve to be to charge this. So it's kind of looking at that and going, you know, when we're looking at charging ourselves, where does the root kind of stem from?
Yeah.
You know.
It'd be interesting to see some comments actually on what you think in terms of, do you value someone who is well known or all over Facebook or has a lot of likes, or would you prefer to go to someone who's famous or someone who's not famous? It'd be interesting to see what kind of comments we get from that.
It's always good to feedback your opinions. Obviously we've covered a few different things just talking now, haven't we? But do you know, how do you feel maybe, guys, about things like there's live videos going out, live feeds of mediumship or cards, and then we were talking before the show about suddenly being linked into or getting a message into your inbox. So these are my prices, you know, but actually they're saying they're offering free readings, but suddenly you get a price list. Do you think that's acceptable? Do you think people should force things upon you? Because personally, I don't know if we do.
No, I don't know.
I think if you're offering something,
someone on Facebook,
that is literally what it is. It's spamming.
I wouldn't dream of it. No, I think, but then again, we were saying earlier about sort of self-worth and things, and attracting what you think you're worth. Is I do kind of think that the clients that come to me, I attract those. I think that they come to me because they have a specific need that I will fulfill during a reading. So I do think you kind of attract the right client.
Yeah.
And it's interesting then, I think, that, as I said, I wouldn't then go around spamming people to try and get them to come to me. I think that, you know, what will be will be. They will eventually just come, and I'll be able to serve them in whatever way. Yeah. It's just about whether I can charge them enough to do it and support myself doing that as a business.
And you could look at that in a different way. Sorry to interrupt.
Sorry, no,
as I say, you could look at that in a slightly different way as well. It's like, is it spamming, or is it you just going, I offer these services?
Yeah.
And
that's true.
Because you can look at it on the flip side, going,
advertising.
It's advertising, isn't it? And it's utilising free advertising. I know when I get unwanted messages, I just think maybe it's because we've had experience about people just going spamming us, and you think, oh gosh. So therefore, we have an opposition to go, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to offend people.
But then that's our own inner work, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't want to offend people. People pleaser.
Yeah.
There's a difference, isn't there, between sharing something on your own page, for example, this is what I do, and then forcing it upon somebody that has just come on because they can't afford a reading, and something comes up and it's free, and they think, oh, you know, or you know, I mean, I've done it. Sam recently was giving readings free, and I went on there and I put my little hand up, please may I have a reading, and I got one. It was very good and came true 3 days later, so I totally recommend her services. So it's, you know, but I went on there and it was just that chance, and she chose me, and that was brilliant, and it was a lovely reading. But had she then put lots and lots of messages in my inbox, this is what I do, I'd have been thinking, oh, you know, that's a bit forward. But if you're sharing it on your own page, or your friends are sharing these things for you, or, you know, you're live and somebody shares that and the word gets around and everything else, and we, you know, the majority of the people are doing it for the right reasons. However, I do feel like some people are saying, okay, here's a free thing, but maybe you've got to pay this much a month, and or maybe there's a little text message at the bottom and things like that, and I just don't think it's quite right.
Some people say that people do these live videos and things for likes, just get numbers up.
Bit of validation.
But then again, yeah, that's another thing with what we're living in today. When you're trying to work and get your services out there and do the social media thing, is that you do need to build a connection. Because I think when you do spiritual work, people need to connect with you.
Oh,
you know
absolutely.
Because different people go to different types of readings. Yeah. So I think, you know, Facebook Lives, because I haven't done lives, but I do videos weekly on my page, which has been great for getting clients in, because they connect with you. They're like, I like the way she talks about that tarot card. She makes it normal, or she does this, or whatever it is that they feel they like from that video, and then they'll come to you for it.
Yeah. No, it is I think for any small business, it's great, whether it's makeup, whether it's, you know, another brand of selling things, or, you know, slimming shakes, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many things out there, isn't there? And there's so many people doing them, and there's so many people doing them in their own individual way. I mean, we're probably all completely different in the way we do things, you know? And one person's going to connect to you, one person's going to connect to you, one person's going to connect to you, one person's going to connect to me. And it just depends what sort of personality that they're drawn to. So if you sort of sit back and sell your wares quietly, no one's going to know you're there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's knowing how to kind of put the message out there without being spammy.
Yeah.
I mean, like you were saying, you received a message from some sounds you know each other.
Yeah.
But would you have been offended if you go, oh, thank you, you know, great to give you a reading, just so you know, if I have other services, these are my costs. If you want anything, then, you know, contact me.
It's not what you're saying, it's how you say it.
Yeah.
And often, you know, if you're on a live anyway, for example, and you had got a workshop coming up, or you had got an event coming up, you would probably say it at the end of the live, you know, or that sort of thing.
Yeah, we'd like to hear from you guys what you feel is the meaning of self-worth. What is your self-worth to you, actually? So obviously, because it's different for everybody.
And how have you overcome any self-worth blocks? That would be a really good comments to see. I think everyone has self-worth issues.
Yeah.
And I think, it's very important that we kind of share ways in which we can.
I just had a little giggle. I just thought, right, I just had a little giggle. I'm a little bit out there. I do apologise. No, I was just thinking about, you know...
Squidging in, sorry.
You squidge it.
Thank
Come
you.
and sit with
Come and
Colin. Well,
I've ruined everything. Look at this. My moving around has caused a bit of...
Who is it? Who's the
I'm just going to hold my hand here.
we caused an issue.
Yeah.
What were you giggling about?
No, I was giggling because I don't know if anybody else has had this. I know you haven't worked in that sort of way, even though you should be clearly after the first show. And picking up on people's things.
Yeah.
I think it's really funny. Do you know when you get well known in an area? So obviously we've been around. I've lived on Hayling Island for a long time. Now live in Portsmouth. But because you get known for what you do, for example, and it's not often I go out because I write hermit, right? But I'm always working. But if I go to the pub, or when I lived on Hayling Island, for example, they'd say, oh, yeah, that's psychic. And it was usually men, right?
Yeah, a lot of men.
You're that psychic. What are you going to tell me then? Nothing?
Colour of the pen?
Well, come on then, you're the psychic. Tell me. And I said, look, I'm out with my friends.
Yeah.
You know, and they're not respecting the fact that I'm out with my friends. I just want a good time. I don't want to be working with that spirit. I want to be working with a different kind of spirit here, girls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right? And I'm like, hang on, right? You know, what do you do? Oh, I'm a mechanic. You're going to come and fix my car then if I do a little swap for you?
Yeah.
Well, no, clearly they're not, you know?
Yeah.
But no, because I'm a spiritual medium and a psychic,
Not
it's
the
like,
norm.
it's like, well, surely you're going to tell me about my life because clearly that's what you do for the whole 24 hours a day. And I'm thinking, no, respect my time. You know, that's my self-worth as well, because I'm thinking, I haven't got anything to prove.
Yeah. I think that's it. I think that you do get to a point where you don't feel you have to prove anything.
Yeah.
You know, it's not necessary to actually prove what you do. You know what you do, and you know what you do helps people.
Yeah.
So when you're at the pub, you can just sit there and enjoy it rather than prove to people.
Or be the psychic woman.
But it's interesting though as well that I imagine that's what doctors get a lot. Do you know when they're out at the pub that maybe if people know they're a doctor,
I don't know.
like, oh, I've got this lump on my foot. Can you have a look?
I've got a hemorrhoid.
I don't want to know, Barbara. Take it away.
Can you have a look? No, I'm joking. I really don't want them to look at my hemorrhoids at the pub. I haven't got hemorrhoids.
How many times can you say that in one sentence, Polly?
Moving away from the hemorrhoids.
Anyway.
Back on topic.
Brilliant.
Self-worth.
Yeah.
That's where we were at. Your value.
Yeah. Value. But interesting, actually, the value that you put in society then. So doctors, it's okay to ask a doctor about a medical problem when they're not on duty. It's okay to ask a psychic about a problem when they're not on duty.
I don't.
But are there other people that you would ask for jobs, like you say, mechanics? We don't ask them. Well, I don't know.
do.
Maybe you would.
Think,
Maybe you would say, "What's this problem in my car?" Yeah.
Just a bit of. When people come to me and ask me about skincare advice, I'm like, I feel like, oh, thank you. I mean, yeah, I'm not working and I'm not doing anything, but I'm happy to give you my advice. And the fact that you've come to me, I really value that.
Yeah.
And I take pride in it. But I mean, it's not something I do all day, every day. But it is something I enjoy and I'm passionate about. So when someone does come to me, I'm like, oh, thank you.
It's a perception, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe it's just.
Perhaps when we're at the pub and we get asked what's going to happen tomorrow, we should just pass out our business card.
That's what I do now. Yeah.
It's a ring.
That's what I do.
Actually, that's a really good idea.
That's your boundary. No, this is my time. But here you go. If you're interested, this is where to contact me.
Yeah.
It's like, seeing a hairdresser out, doing a fringe.
Oh yeah.
Well, actually, to be fair, my brother's a hairdresser, and 9 times out of 10, I'll text him and I'll be like, I need to get my hair done. Shall I do this? And then I'm like, by the way, how are you? How are the kids? Because it's a thing to do. But maybe it's just, as humans, maybe that's how we connect. We kind of hear what people do and go, oh, that's interesting. Help me with my car. Help me with my psychic problem. Help me with my health.
And that's a really honourable thing. If someone's opening up, aren't they? They're showing you that bit of you. Actually, I want you to help me with this.
Yeah, I think it's
invite
different.
to connect.
I think it's a way somebody says, because like I said, if they say, oh, you're the psychic lady and blah, 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 give me a reading, clearly I'm not going to. And it's really abrupt and it's really quite rude. And I wouldn't do the same. And I think my parents have instilled quite a lot of like, you're going to behave yourself and you keep yourself private and you do and I appreciate that, because I wouldn't infringe on somebody else's time without offering them money. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I wouldn't, unless if Sam wanted a reading swap, for example, then we're both having an exchange. Does that make sense?
Equal exchange, isn't it?
Yeah, that energy exchange. I think that happens a lot in the spiritual field.
Yeah.
So there's loads of friends that I'll be like, I really want to read it. And I find it, I don't know about you guys, but I find it really hard to read for myself. I can pull my cards, I know what my cards mean.
But
that's it.
up.
That's
then you
as far as it goes. And then the ego comes in. The ego comes in, and it's not as valuable as if I asked a friend of mine to do an exchange, because they can tell me stuff that I'm like, I needed to hear that.
But that's different as well, because if you're giving yourself a reading, then you're emotionally attached to what you're even thinking about, aren't you?
It's like when you do South Sunday roast, it's not as good as when someone else cooks it for you.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that's a great analogy. That is.
Perfect analogy.
It depends who's cooked it, actually. It depends and it does depend if they're clean.
Brilliant.
Oh, interesting to see any comments on whether you read for yourself as well. I know we had a few people last week that did their own tarot cards. So do you read for yourself, and do you find you get value from reading for yourself, or going to see a spiritual advisor or a tarot card reader?
Well, actually, be quite useful. Actually, what do you guys do, and how much does that impact your self-worth? Is it your job that imprints on your self-worth, or is it your hobby, or is it something that you do at home? Is it your family that builds your self-worth? It's not just
and what do you rely on to build your self-worth? Because if you're so connected to your job and you become your job, I am what my job is, what I am, then that validates your self-worth. What happens when that job goes?
Yeah.
What are you kind of left with?
But then I think that's an interesting concept when we're saying about working in the spiritual field. I feel that my business has grown out of who I am. I'm not, yes, it's a job and it's a business and I want to earn money from it because I want to support my family doing what I love, but I feel it's a connection. I won't ever stop being a tarot card reader or being a Reiki reader, because that is part of who I am. So yeah, it's an interesting concept. It's not whether your job defines you.
What do you think? What defines your self-worth?
I think for years I've always used external things to validate me. I think for years, I'll admit it, I've had a terrible self-worth. I've never had any value on myself. I did a bit of exercise, maybe just about a year ago, and I wrote down, I have no value. I've literally got nothing to offer the world. And I was like, wow, that's truly how I feel about myself. I genuinely didn't think that I had anything to kind of offer. And then I thought, well, how have I kind of got through life? And I thought, well, I've had loads of relationships, and I've used those relationships to validate me. I was of use, I was of service within that dynamic, so therefore that gives me value, and I was drawing that from that. And it just sent me on this very, very spiritual kind of path, because I was like, wow, I can't live a life like this. I mean, when I eventually have children, I'm just going to pass that on to them. I don't want them to have. I want them to come up. I want them to grow up to be strong people who value themselves. And I don't value myself. And I didn't believe that, and I've had to go through this very up and down.
And I think that is an interesting thing today, because I think so many children have anxiety and self-worth issues now. And I wonder, is it the society that we live in? Is it because we're consistently telling our children, valuing their achievements, what they've done, what they've actually got done, rather than just who they are? It's very important. I try so hard to talk to the kids about their day and like reward them or praise them for just being kind, not for what they've achieved, but just for being kind. Or say, that was a nice thing to do, and I'm glad that you've had fun today, rather than I'm glad that you got on the rainbow, or I'm glad that you did really well at your homework.
That's a really good point for obviously parents, grandparents, carers, in general out there. Have you got any tips to maybe build on children's self-worth? You don't have to be a parent to help.
Oh no, absolutely. Do you know the value of? I've worked for years and years. Worked with children with additional needs in schools, and some of them haven't got the support, the parenting. They haven't got the family around that can help them. They're literally letting themselves in and eating pot noodles. Some of these. I'm not talking. I'm talking. I've worked from infant stage to sort of year 11. And some of these children haven't had a book read to them. They haven't had this read to them. A lot of children now, I mean, they haven't got self-worth because they haven't got a role model. Some of them, I'm not talking, they haven't got a role model. And some of them are going to beat through that, aren't they? And become something great because they are, or feel, like they've really built themselves up because they've got this, like, stuff bubbling inside them. They're really talented. They want to get out there. But then you've got the other one who will have no self-worth, no confidence, no role model. They don't know how to behave. They don't know, and unfortunately with schools now, it's all about stats. It's all about how well they're doing.
It's not teaching life skills. Or like when I was at school, obviously you would just about learn to cook. When my mum was at school, they'd have sewing lessons.
I did sewing.
Sewing, that would have been really useful. I'd love to know how to sew.
Really?
I don't know how to sew. My dad has been trying to teach me for years, but I've always kind of, I don't need that, Dad. I need that, Dad. Now I need it.
I've got no attention span at all. I'm like sort of a demented goldfish. I've got like, I don't even get 4 seconds, it's 2, and I'm like, oh, what's happening?
That's talking about what is the basics we need to then build on ourselves.
But also, like, enjoying what you're learning. I mean, it's the same. And then we're going to get tested on that to see how well we can spell.
We were talking about this on the way down, weren't we? About how we were talking about kind of like the worldly successes. And I've always gone, I've been trying to strive in the professional career. Never had any enjoyment, but I always thought, when I'm rich, I'll be happy. And actually, it's only now that I'm doing a job which is totally unreal. I've got no skills in it. I'm going to learn. I love it. I'm happy. I've taken a pay cut and I'm doing something that I like.
But also, I think as well, in today's society, people are losing their self-worth a little bit because they're putting their self-worth on things like social media.
We have noises from
above. We've got that noise again.
Spirit coming in. Hi.
That was a confused face. I was like, it sounds like somebody's walking around upstairs, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sounds like a hissing, like a cat hissing. No,
it's really
my ears.
Right.
Anyway,
so guys, what do you think builds self-worth, and what do you think is integral to self-worth from your side? That's what I was saying.
Anyone remember? Self-worth, value,
about being happy with any job. Rather than your job valuing you. And I was saying about social media perhaps now. Creating people's self-worth, because you see all these girls putting on their, I didn't even wear makeup till I was 15. Like, I remember my dad, I used to have to get the bus to school and I'd sneak on some mascara on my way to school.
You rebel.
My dad was like, no.
Was it blue? Was it blue mascara?
Electric
blue mascara. I used to love a blue mascara.
I wasn't allowed to wear any of that. And then I see girls now that are a lot younger than I was that contour and highlight, and then they're putting their selfies up, and they're putting so much value on what their likes are. And I think that that's something we really need to kind of address with the younger generation. They're worthy just as they are.
Yeah, well, they're looking for this external validation.
Yeah,
but they spend their whole time on these computerized things, aren't they? Kind of, this is where their interaction's going. They're not getting this kind of one-on-one human connection where you're kind of getting that back, that nice energy exchange. It's like, I'm going to put myself out there and wait for that to kind of come back to me.
Scantily dressed. And I am not a fan of that at all. And they were saying recently on the news or something, they were saying about the percentages of however many years ago with children's mental health and now, and it's risen massively. And it's risen massively because everybody's like bothered about what everybody looks like,
and what everyone else thinks.
Yeah, and what everyone else thinks, and you're not allowed to have your own opinion anymore.
You can just give kids iPads.
But
Let the kids do that.
I think there is a different aspect to that rise in statistics as well, though, that I do think people are more aware of mental health now. So I think people are addressing it more, and they're talking about it more. So I think there is an element of it just being people being more aware that there's an issue with anxiety or depression. But I also agree that there's not enough done on connecting. When people know that they're worthy just as they are.
When I was a kid, you had a red phone box.
Yeah.
You had your home phone that didn't even come away from the wall.
It's
like that.
all the way around.
And you had to phone your friends.
Yeah.
Hi, Mrs. Patterson, is so-and-so there, please?
And what you're wearing, you know, what you're wearing.
And then the internet came in, you couldn't dial out when the internet was on.
Yeah, that's it.
In the old
days. Interestingly, I actually said to the children the other day, because my son is 10 and he has a mobile phone, that we were out and we were having a conversation about like we have like certain rules if they're in crowded places, where they have to sit on the floor and wait for me to find them rather than wander around looking for me. And we were talking about a phone box, and it suddenly occurred to me that they don't know how to reverse the charges. So if they're out, they don't know how to pick up that phone and ring home, because if he loses his phone or anything like that. So I was like, I don't have to have this conversation with you and explain to him, like, well, I think he can still do it. I don't know. Can you still do it?
I think they're taking phones out of phone boxes, haven't they?
Areas,
Instead of these red things, like I think you go in it thinking it's a TARDIS, thinking I'm going to be transported off to Narnia or something, but nothing happened.
Yeah, I did go through the whole. I explained to him how he could reverse the charges and always ring home, because I knew how to do that.
You used to have, didn't you have them in the, you know, some they have them in town. They're like signboards, but on the side of it there's like a panel where you can like send a message.
Is that?
Yeah,
all these
near bus stops.
No, it's not far from bus stops, but there's actually like just billboards. You know, you get the signs and stuff. And on the side of it, yes, it's gone pretty technical now. But I think they still have phone boxes, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, go for it.
No, I was just saying, it's a weird.
I know where it is.
It's a weird concept, isn't it? That I knew, and like telephone numbers.
Oh God, I only know mine.
I know mine now, and I can remember my parents' telephone number, I can remember my old telephone number, but the kids can't remember theirs because they don't need to, because they're on their phone. And I'm like, actually, you need to know what your phone number is if ever you need to phone home.
We've had all these massive technology increases, and sort of going back on the topic of what did we just basically touch on mental health a little bit there? We did, didn't we? Have the numbers only risen because now we have so many more devices and more things available that now people feel more confident and able to talk about it? Or have these figures always been there, but they've just been really stifled? But we're breeding more of a communicating, opening up kind of society. Yeah,
the only thing is with things like Facebook, and there's my massive pet hate, is the fact that it's not really a pet hate. I just feel worried about it, really. But do you know when somebody puts on, I don't know, something like feeling annoyed or feeling furious or whatever, and they're not saying
and
why.
They don't elaborate.
And then but the thing is, it worries me because a lot of the people that are jumping on things like that, they don't really care. They just want to know what the problem is. Now, if I had a massive issue and I was fuming, I probably wouldn't tell anyone for a start.
I wouldn't put it on Facebook.
And I certainly wouldn't put it on Facebook. Or I would phone a family member, a friend, or my other half would get it. Sorry. But it would be, no, it would be one of those things that it's good to talk, but is it good to bring in comments or people feeding off it
to share?
Yeah.
Basically, you know,
people feeding off that don't really care.
no.
It's like that worries me. Yeah, it's the fact that hopefully most of us would have somebody that we could call on, or somebody we could contact. You know, most of us would have to talk something through with. I've got some very good friends. I keep my really good friends very small, but I know that if I phone them up, I'd say this is what I think, and they would give me an honest answer. They'd say if I was out of order.
Yeah.
They would also say, okay, maybe you need to think about this, do this, you know, and I know I could get some sound advice, and I know they'd care.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
But also, I think that's interesting what you're saying about hearing people like call you out on bad behaviour. Or, like, I think it's really important to actually have somebody in your life who will be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know, when they're like, Becky, what are you doing? You're acting like an idiot. You know, rather than on Facebook, everyone's trying to be nice to you, and it's all a bit people pleasing. Yeah, you're okay, everything's fine. But actually, I think it's important to have someone there who just kind of holds you accountable at times, and is like, stop being so negative, being a negative Nelly, turn it around, you know, and really kind of pull you up and be honest.
My partner's like that. Oh my goodness, the amount of conversations that we've had, it's been like a battle against ego. Him just going, actually, you're being like this, and I'm just like, no, I don't want to I don't want to let go of this, and I don't actually want to look at that behaviour and actually take ownership of it and go, actually, you know what, I'm actually acting like a bit of a wally. Yeah. That's one of the reasons we're together. We're able to kind of like shine the light on the other's crap. Yeah. And I've never had anyone in my life like that. I've always had friends who are like, oh no, you're fine. And throughout life, I've just been thinking that I'm okay, my behaviours are fine, but actually, they're not very helpful.
That's what I think makes our relationship so strong. We're married 13 years. 14 years? I don't know.
Wow.
He doesn't watch it.
Careful.
But we've been married a really long time, and we've been together a long time. But it is exactly that. He will call me out on my bad behaviour. He will be like, you know, are you really sure you want to go down that path? And like you say, sometimes I'm like, yes, I'm in my ego, and this is how it's going to be. And then I take a moment before I'm like, actually, no, he's kind of right. And then he'll forgive me, and you kind of have that. But I think it is important to have friends, people in your life that will call you out on bad behaviour as well.
My dogs love it when I'm in a strop, because they get the longest walk ever. Oh yes, she's in a strop. Right, we're going to go for miles now. Go down QE Country Park.
What about the viewers? I'd be interested again to see comments on whether you feel that you have people in your life that hold you accountable, and what you do with that, really.
I think when you've got that, and you're able to kind of look at it, and you've got that kind of relationship where that kind of constructive criticism can help, then that helps you to become more aware. And I suppose that like in your evolution, you become then more aware. Yeah. And then when you become more aware, you become more integral. And then when you become more integral, your self-worth grows. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it helps to kind of highlight that. I mean, it's not as simple and easy as that, but I think it starts that journey, because when you can go in and start to go, whoa.
And again, going back to the self-worth thing of not looking for somebody in a relationship to validate you. You know, actually, I'm not saying that you have to look for somebody that's going to pull you out on your bad behaviour. No. But if you're looking for validation from someone that you're in a relationship with, and then they call you out on bad behaviour, that kind of really affects your self-worth. You're like, oh my God, I can't believe that they think that. They think I'm being an idiot. But actually, you know, sometimes it's important to learn from that and grow from that. And that's what relationships are all about, isn't it? I think. It's just grow.
I'd like to go.
Got a giggler over here.
I'd like to go back.
I just remembered something from earlier. I'm sorry.
Oh God. What you were saying about obviously young girls and the way that they look, because self-worth, obviously, how much you worth money-wise, how much you worth mentally-wise. Does self-worth affect your appearance as well as everything else? Because for me, I love my makeup. Yeah. You know, I like clothes, you know, and that actually builds me when I've got my makeup on. Yeah. You know, so it isn't a case of like the young girls, oh, I think I should do. For me, actually, that makes me feel a lot better.
It's part of your self-care.
You know.
Yeah, self-care. And I think that's quite important. I always notice I'm having a really bad couple of days, and it's if I've gone a few days without makeup on.
Well, I don't shower for a few days.
No, I don't clarify that. But if I go a few days without putting any makeup on,
Yeah.
am I having a bad time?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, maybe I am. And I don't need the makeup to feel worthy, but I notice that perhaps I'm feeling a bit down if I haven't done it.
Yeah, or
You know,
do
it's
my
just-
hair, or I moved a few years ago, and over the moving process, obviously, it takes days. I found I had no makeup on. My hair was just awful, and all of a sudden I realised, I was like, I feel like crap. I'm gonna go and put some makeup on. I wasn't even going anywhere. I was just going to put makeup on and go do my hair.
Had a little
know.
necklace.
Don't have you. That was for me. I wasn't necessarily seeing anyone important, but for my self-worth and actually making myself feel better, because I do hear comments of people like, oh my god, they wear so much makeup, things like that, and I'm like,
People's judgment
actually,
and
if
projection.
that makes that person feel good about themselves, why not?
Yeah, I agree. And I think it is one of those things that you're doing it for you, not for somebody else to validate it. Do you know what I mean? Not for somebody else to say, oh, you look gorgeous today, but for you to look in the mirror and go,
I love it. I love
my best.
when I dress, I mean, like a complete hippie, right? Oh my god, I'm in heaven. It's like, when you just feel like you've got these baggy trousers, I feel like I'm in my pajamas and I've got like wacky stuff on, and my kids are going, oh my god. Oh my god, mum, what are you wearing? And this is like a normal thing. Those usually it's like, oh, those trousers make you look like you've pooed yourself or something, And I'm saying, but I'm happy, but I'm so happy. That was what I was laughing at.
I thought you were.
I was so happy wearing floaty stuff, But they're horrified by it. But because I love it, I'm thinking, I don't care what you do.
You do you.
Yeah, you wear your stuff, I'll wear mine.
That's your self-worth
Yeah.
at the highest, really.
Oh,
when
yeah.
you think,
Massive.
I don't
Or
care
one
what you
day,
think,
I want to be rock chicks, I'm going to be. That sort of
The
thing. And
freedom of it all.
yeah, it's like I'm never the same twice.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing, isn't it?
Do you think self-worth and building yourself up is harder for a man or a woman?
Oh. Well, in order
I
for you
actually think there's a huge thing of self-worth in men at the moment.
I
think,
do.
Yeah, there's a big identity crisis in men at the moment, which might be our topic of our next show.
Probably. Because I mean, you look back again, even when I was a kid, it was like the dad went to work, the mum might have gone to work, but not much. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. My mum's a teacher. Things like that. But my dad, he worked really, really hard, and lots of other dads worked really, really hard. It was often the dads that worked really, really hard. Now we're all working equally, aren't we?
It's like how they build themselves. So obviously next week will be good from hear from hopefully a lot of men.
I'd like
So should we do some cards?
Yeah.
Just we can.
We're just going to do it between ourselves for a few minutes, are we?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll have one.
Go on then. Shuffle and pick a
Awesome.
card.
I have one already. I'll have one for you then. Okay.
So if any of you guys out there have maybe men in your life, or maybe you've got questions, about the men in your life, are there any men in your life struggling? Do you have any men in your life that struggle with their own self-image, self-worth? Anything that you want to add to the table? Because I think in order for us to really fill that kind of topic, we're going to need some,
how those men have built up their self-worth.
Yeah.
That would be good tips to help others.
For men and women.
Absolutely.
I think it would be really good topic to come back to. And so, Sam, you've got the Seven of Air. This is about the situations going on around you that might be some delays coming in, things not necessarily working out exactly 100% as you're expecting them to at the moment. So from this card, you really need to take a little bit of patience and a little bit of a flexible approach, not get too caught into nope, it's going to be this way or no way. And I also feel as though there's some stuff going on at the minute that you're feeling a little bit like you've got too much going on at the moment.
What card was that?
Seven of Air.
Definitely too much.
And you need to kind of get focused on what's really important, prioritise, and then you'll be able to move forward with that. There's too much energy being a bit scattered around different areas. I feel like there's something coming up business-wise that is just gonna, it's gonna be positive, but I feel like there's a few delays. But I feel like be flexible with those delays, and just as we were saying before, they're lessons, they're things that you're gonna not repeat the same mistakes. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So just take that on board, that there might be a little bit of a delay in what you're hoping for.
Right. Thank you very much.
Do you want to do one?
Yes.
I think Emily should pull.
Yeah, I think so.
Shall I pull? Do I have to shuffle? No?
I think actually
You should
give
read
someone.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
So
I've not
you
used
give the cards
these.
to shuffle yourself, and then
wow.
pass them to someone else.
My leg has just gone to sleep.
You can give what you get intuitively, and then I'll tell you what the card
Okay.
symbol is.
Oh, have fun. So I've only recently started. What fun we're having here.
Playing with the tarot.
I've got myself some tarot cards at home, and I've been playing around with them on and off for like the past year or so, but I've never really, well,
Too much.
I haven't really done too much with them.
This is your moment.
This is my moment to shine, or to, well,
So-
learn. Okay, I'm
You
happy
give them
with
to
that.
Polly and Polly can.
What am I doing with
You're
them?
picking a card,
You're
Polly.
picking a
Oh,
card.
pick a card,
Emily's
pick a
gonna
card,
read
any
it.
card. Better be a good one. Otherwise, I want my money back. I've got my self-worth.
Yeah. Got myself
Oh,
Okay.
go, girl.
Oh, blimey.
Read it out.
It's the Night of Fire. A sudden event that needs immediate attention. Time is of the essence. Think things through carefully. Passionate, adventurous, self-assured, relentless. These cards are really nice. But I think I'm going to more like tarot.
They were a little bit lighter than
That's
the
a bit
tarot.
like the.
Aren't
Is that a bit like the Knight of Swords?
Knight of Wands.
Knight of
Not
Wands.
one, this
Alright.
one. Okay, so what am I getting through this? I don't know. I've got a feeling in my tummy, but I don't think it's anything to do physically. But what's your middle one? It's your solar plexus, isn't it?
Wind.
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
I've got trapped wind. Them
Trapped wind and
hemorrhoids.
Oh my god, you're going to get so many like messages.
We are,
about
we're all like
how to
hemorrhoids.
have your hemorrhoids.
Hemorrhoid cream.
Oh goodness. So in this card, I'm looking at the sea behind it. It's really, really rocky, and sea to me is very kind of like emotional, which maybe it's a very emotional thing that you're going to be going through. I don't know if I'm getting any of this right. You have to tell me in a moment. Time's of the essence. This horse is very, very strong, and normally horses kind of want to gallop, but he's kind of holding back this horse, which says to me is, although you maybe want to kind of run forward and run to the finish line, I think it's a time to kind of pause and just get everything in alignment before you run ahead. Otherwise, your emotions might take over. So it might be a time to kind of go more into the head, analyze, and well, like it says, think things through carefully. Don't rush into it. He looks pretty strong there. I don't know. You're going to have to tell me what about
That's
this
a pretty accurate reading for.
Really?
Yeah, definitely. The Knight of Fire or Knights in tarot are like messages. Well, you guys do tarot anyway, don't you? No? Okay, so the Knights are like messages, news, or people coming into your life, and with something exciting, something passionate. Exactly what Emily's just said. This is a time not to get caught up in that passion, but really take a moment to pause before charging ahead and really just think things through and analyse, be kind of in your head a little bit rather than getting caught up into the heart and the emotion of the excitement. So yeah, I feel like there is something quite exciting and quite passionate and quite fun for you, which is a good thing. I mean, I always try and do light readings for the tarot and do sort of the positive, but exactly as Emily said, when it presents itself, don't rush in completely, don't get carried away on the excitement, but really think things through.
That makes total sense.
It does.
Yeah.
I was going to say, does that make
It
sense?
makes total sense.
Yeah.
It makes total
She
sense.
said-
What you said, it made total sense.
As you were saying that, I just kept getting the universe. So it's kind of professional side, leave it to the universe, and because it's going to happen whatever way. So maybe just take a step aside to
Let it
concentrate
happen.
on yourself and just let it happen anyway.
Yeah.
I always think
Excellent.
pauses are good pauses.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It's like a calm before the storm.
It
Take a
is,
moment.
because sometimes you've just got to get things, like you said, get in your head, right, okay, I really want to get this done, or I really want to do this, but it might be the money, or it might be this, or it might be that. It's like, let's sort of think about it all.
See, I'm a really impatient person.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure my husband would
I want it
100%
yesterday.
agree that, you know, I want things now.
Yeah.
You know, if I don't say it's like, no, I want it now. I want this done now. You know, life isn't like that. You literally have to wait.
Yeah.
Really annoys me.
That's what that part was earlier. You have the delays
And then when you're waiting for something to happen, and then you pull the patience card, and you're like, bah!
It never existed.
When you do readings for yourself, you're like, I don't want that card.
Yeah,
Put it back
that's
to the pile.
And it keeps popping out.
Yeah.
Although
Right.
I've never redone tarot, when I was 17, I did have a deck, and I used to literally pull cards myself every single day.
Yeah.
And then at one point, I'm not quite sure what happened. I thought, "Do you know what? Actually, I don't want to know what's happened to me every single day.
Yeah.
You know, I just got to that
You
point where
usually know at the end anyway.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'd pick one every single day, and then I just thought, "Do you know what?
Yeah.
Just
Definitely,
it's
it's
not
fearful,
for
can't
me."
it? Oh my god, this is going to happen. I've got to like watch out for it, and then you almost kind of
See, I
get a bit
think
in your
that's
head
why
about it.
on my page I try and do a weekend card and a week card, just to give kind of what type of energy might be coming up for the week and where to focus your energy. But yeah, I don't actually necessarily think it's a good thing to have a card a day, because you know, every day is going to be different, and it's you don't want to become dependent on it.
Yeah,
it's
listen,
nice to know what the energy is, and what, you know, whether you should be pushing forward with something or whether you should be holding back. But I think it's important not to do it too
I
often.
do a weekly room on my page, and
Room.
I love that, the room.
Oh, lovely.
yeah.
Yeah.
And actually this week there was one on there like step back, hold, pause, and I'm like, oh my god, it literally just says stop everything pretty much and just kind of let things happen. And I'm like thinking actually in my head, if that was me reading that, I think, what the hell? That's not what I want.
That's not what I want to do. Yeah.
But you know, it was a kind of a room that says you need to kind of just step back, let things happen, like I literally just said to you, and kind of just concentrate on something that makes you happy rather than it's like a natural distraction. Give Emily a palm reading.
A palm reading.
Yes.
Oh,
That would be awesome.
Are we
Okay.
left or right-handed?
I'm right-handed. Oh, look at this.
Obviously,
like
this
it.
is really, really
It's like your first day.
I know. Oh, you've got your lovely and warm.
I know. It's like, I mean, my husband thinks I'm like a radiator.
Freezing
In
cold.
winter, he loves it, and in the summer, he's like all the way
So
over the
way
outside
for
of the
me.
room. Okay, so obviously we've got the 4 major lines, which is our heart, our head, our life, and our fate lines. So we'll just do 2. So I'm going to go straight for your heart line, and your heart line doesn't just mean love; it means friendships, family projects. Okay, but you're really nicely curved, which means you do actually have a really big heart, and your emotions flow. Okay, but they can flow for everybody to see. Okay, but you come up here, which is really nice, which means you are a little bit stubborn. Okay, stubborn, if you guys have had a reading, doesn't mean to say it's a bad thing. Okay, but it can show you if you're applying it in the right areas. Okay, and at the moment you're not applying it in every right area.
Okay.
You should be. So put that stubbornness in, because we've got some very argumentative side to you as well.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so can I have both? Yeah. Actually, I'll mention this here. So we've got a split, 2 splits on your head and your heart line. Okay. This can also mean that we feel emotion very intensely, and I would actually say you're very empathic, which means you take on a lot of other people's emotions. Obviously, that going back to the other episode, is the spiritual side, actually helping you. So I'm going to go on to your fate line, which comes right through the middle. So it comes from the bottom here and then goes right up through the top. Generally from the bottom, could be the middle, could be generally to the side.
Yeah.
Okay. So at this point, I do compare the both, because I believe that this is your birth hand and this is the one you go through life with. Okay. So what I do is I compare them. I look at both of them and see how kind of similar they are, how kind of different they are. So with your fate line, you can see yourself here. It does go back into your lifeline. However, it does change considerably as you go through. Okay, which means at the moment, yeah, you're actually coming onto a new path at the moment, new transition in your life. It's not necessarily where you'll stay, because I think there for you have lots of different directions that you could go in. It's almost like different paths are completely open to you, and you could pretty much choose whatever path you want. You're like a free spirit, pretty much, because you don't have that much of a fate line. It's very, very thin. But I will say in the next 5 years, because palmistry doesn't have a specific timeline, it's normally 10 years-ish, but in the next 5 years you'll have another transition in your life, because you're going through one at the moment, which is taking a while, trying to find yourself and who you are. But in the next 5 years, it's almost like you'll be a bit more stable, to be honest. You'll be more stable. Have you got a dog?
No, I used to.
Have a fluffy white brown thing.
It's really weird, because just before you said that, I keep seeing a cat. Right?
Fluffy white, but I used to have a cat who was fluffy and white.
I kept seeing a cat. Was it quite a chunk?
Yeah, she was chunky.
Right, I keep seeing a chunky cat.
No, I'm definitely seeing a dog.
I'm going to get a dog.
I'm definitely seeing a dog. But obviously I'm into like 5 years, up to 5 years now. So that could be any time over there, really.
Watch out on my Facebook and Instagram to see if the dog is manifesting in the next 5 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I've really got to say, right, and this is almost a dead cert, that there is going to be a stray cat coming your way. Right, but it's like got no friends, right? And I'm not joking. I keep seeing, you've had a cat, but there's another cat. It's a bit like, like runny eyes, whatever, but it just feels like there's a cat coming your way, and it's going to make itself at home. Be prepared for that, okay? Because it won't want to go away. Okay. It won't want to go away.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say white, predominantly white with maybe some tabby patches on, okay, that keeps coming your way.
Fantastic.
So,
thank you, ladies.
So next week
we're going to be talking about masculinity and femininity. So if you want to,
is that next week or is that the Christmas one we're doing next week?
Oh, we've got so many topics up our sleeves. We'll have to wait and find out. We'll surprise you.
There's stuff that you want us to talk about as well, because it's an interactive show. We want to hear what you guys want us to discuss and what you want help with, and because the whole point of us doing the show is that we can help you if we can in some way. And so I hope that you've enjoyed it, and please like and share the pages,
give us
follow
your
us
love
on Facebook, and look us all up, and then connect with us that way as well.
Thank you for having us.
Bye.
Bye.